Hello, and welcome to episode 230 of the Arena Regulars podcast. I'm Zach,
And I'm Jeff.
and we're your source for drunken Magic the Gathering arena content.
That's right, just a couple of regular guys drinking some irregular beers, talking about Magic the Gathering. In particular, the online client MTG Arena.
That is right, and this week we are talking all about Strixhaven spoilers as well as an event that Jeff and I played in this last weekend, some Planar Standard stuff. So if you're interested in that, wait till the end of the episode. We will be getting into our experience with our first Planar Standard event. But first, each week we bring a beer, we drink it, we rate it on a scale from bronze to mythic, just like the tiers in Arena. And so with that, Jeff, what is on tap this week?
All right, this week we have a real exciting one, Zach. This is Coffee Bola.
Okay, that's good.
Which is an imperial stout with coffee and kokosbola, which I'm a little unclear on, but there seems to be ice cream in the picture, and of the many definitions that a Google search brought up, it did mention coconut chocolate ice cream, which is exactly what this picture looks like. So I'm going to say that it's a coffee and coconut chocolate ice cream imperial stout. So that means it's 11%.
It's a big boy.
And this beer is from Iceland. My brother spent some time in Iceland recently, and when he came back, he brought a bunch of beers for us to try. And so this one's from, looks like Reykjavik. So cool.
Yeah,
But
very cool.
They don't mess around up there. 11%.
They do not. There's a reason we have been saving this for last because we always put it off. Because
I don't know if I can do it 11% tonight.
I know we used to be all about them, but now we're
We used to do like 3 of them.
wild. We were different people back then. Yeah. But Jeff, let's crack this open. Let's see if this actually tastes like what we think it's going to taste like. This word I don't want to try to pronounce. All right, here you go. All right, cheers, Jeff. Jeez. We have some Magic news. So, there is an Arena Direct event next weekend, April 10th to the 12th, for Bloomborough Play Booster Japanese Bloomborough Play Booster boxes.
Yeah, it's about that time in the Small Universes Beyond set life cycle where they get rid of some of their extra Japanese stock from a random set.
Yes. I like the Arena Directs. I think they're great. We champion them on this podcast. I also like non-English Magic cards. I'm a huge fan. I don't need a whole booster box, though. I guess I don't want to... I could win it, and then the fun part about it is, I went to this foreign country. I brought back boosters that are a different language. And this is the period of time I was there, and I can give it to my friends, and they'll have those boosters or cards and be like, oh yeah, this was from that time that my friend went to the thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not the same. So it's not as exciting to me. I can't draft with this. Or...
Yeah. I guess for for Japanese players, they feel the...
Oh, yeah, it'll be great for them.
Yeah. So that's always nice. It does feel a bit like Empty the Warehouse-y because it's in another language. And it's probably one that they stock a lot of. And it's a very, arbitrarily chosen set, it feels like.
Yes.
I don't like the Japanese thing. I don't know how that would affect its resale value, because that's how I always convince myself to play in these things. It's like, oh, you could win a few $100s worth of product that you will definitely sell.
I think it affects it quite a bit.
Brings it down, right?
Yeah. In the area of the world.
For our area, yeah. If I'm going to sell it on Kijiji, I can't ask for as much.
Yes.
Kijiji is, people might not even know what that is, but it's like a Facebook Marketplace kind of thing.
Yeah. It's
yeah, so I don't think that would normally stop me. I think I have played in one before. I don't think I won the cards, but
for the Japanese ones, yeah.
I think for me, partially, it's like I didn't play Bloomborough. So, yeah.
Bloomborough was the set that when I went to Japan, I wanted it to be during Bloomborough because it would have been at the very end of Bloomborough because I really wanted to
Right.
draft in Japanese. However, instead of going at the end of Bloomborough, it went at the very beginning of Duskmorn.
When you didn't know the cards. And that was luckily a very like simple and straightforward set. So
Yeah, there wasn't
you didn't
anything
even,
crazy in there.
cards didn't even really have any text on them. So
Yeah. Obviously, that's a joke. There's a ton of words in Duskmorn.
Super complicated format. You're trying to like ingest it in a new language.
Yeah, especially when there's things like, oh yeah, we really care about card types in graveyards, and I can't tell the difference
Yeah,
between
I've had a
instant
lot
and
of that.
sorcery. Like that would be an issue. But anyway, if you're interested in playing with that, it's coming out. I just think I think this is only the second time we've done the Japanese play booster thing, but it's always a little head scratchy, just a little bit.
These are fun events though. So you know what?
Yeah,
If it's
they're great.
like this or nothing, take this.
I agree. I definitely agree. Also, this is important. This is a weird thing, but all 10 of the special guest cards that are for Secrets of Strixhaven, they've been revealed. Special guests are, it's a very small chance that you'll get them in play boosters, and they are in more collector boosters, but they do affect the draft format. Really, the only reason I'm talking about this, they're all reprints, as always. However, there's something different happening this time, where they're all book-themed, because it's a school. But of the 10 cards,
Nerds.
one of them is Library of Lang, but on Arena, we will not get the Library of Lang. We will instead get Library of Alexandria with new art. And that will be an Arena-only thing. I think it's probably
Cool
just
if you're
because
into timeless.
yeah. So, Library of Alexandria, I'm pretty sure they didn't explicitly say that they are restricting it in timeless, but they said that it will probably be like pulled back. It's going to be banned everywhere else on Arena and
Of course.
restricted to your one card in timeless.
What about standard?
Obviously not. Special guest cards are never part of standard, even though they're in the play boosters. Similar to like Mystical Archives, which we're getting again, which is great.
Right. I was about to say this is special guest is different than Mystical Archive. If it's
Correct,
tough
but-
to keep up, you weren't, you're not to be
Part
blamed.
of yeah. So special guests, I don't know. Did they start that in Thunder Junction, or did they just started with play boosters? When did they start special guests?
It's been a
can't
long
remember.
time, I guess.
But there's only 10 special guests per set that has special guests. It's getting more confusing now because we don't get special guests in Universes Beyond sets, so we only get them every other set or something.
Yeah.
But they're just cool reprints that are just it's a good way to inject little reprints into stuff, without doing a full bonus sheet.
Yeah, it's
But
been particularly been like one of the ways they like to do like a straight to timeless kind of thing.
for arena stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Or straight to brawl, things like that.
Right.
Obviously, the only formats that matter. But I just thought that was interesting. It's the first time where we have one of these where like the arena cards there's going to be one that's different.
I kind of like it because like Library of Alexandria and Library of Lang are quite dissimilar other than having the word library. So they very clearly just wanted the university set special guest to include libraries as much as possible. So there's Sylvan Library, Magus of the Library.
Yeah,
And they're like, we can't lose one of our libraries on Arena.
it's true. So on Arena, you can get both Magus of the Library as well as Library of Alexandria, which would not be able to happen in paper. I think it's also that Library of Alexandria is already coded into Arena. It's part of the Power Cube.
Yeah.
And so they don't
That's
have to do
fair.
any work. And so I think Library of Lang, they're like, well, we don't really want this in timeless anyway, and you can't play it anywhere else, and it's not in the Power Cube. It would be a lot of work to add a card that they're like, you can't even play it anywhere. Let's just not. And they just decided, I guess, it wasn't worth it. Which I think this is totally fine. But
I'm not even sure I really understand Library of Lang. So, like, I can understand what it does.
Yeah.
But, like, why? I'm assuming there's some sort of busted loop or something.
Probably.
But
Library of Lang is just a cheap artifact that, like, you have no maximum hand size, and if you would discard a card, you can discard it to the top of your library instead of your graveyard.
Right. So I'm assuming it's some dumb thing where you, like, keep discarding the same thing and putting it back to the top of your library somehow, and, like, just you have some cycle, like it's a looter that whatever
does something.
But like the card itself, I'm like, why would I don't understand this card.
I also don't. So I'm totally fine with them being like, you know what, we don't even need to put this.
And like the two things confuse me because it says you have no maximum hand size, so I think it's going to say something like, you can't discard, haha. And oh, okay, I do get that part now. I was going to say, like, what do these have to do with each other? They don't want you to, like, go to your discard step.
Mm-hmm. And then discard to the top of your library. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't get to do that.
Like, what is that getting you? But anyways.
You, like, don't get
it's a very weird card.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the anti-decking. They were worried about it hosing the mill deck too hard.
Maybe. I'm sure somebody who's like much older than us can explain why Library of Lang is like great and awesome. One also weird distinction that I guess matters probably matters all the time, but it does say that if an effect causes you to discard a card, discard it still, but you put it on the top instead. So like it would trigger discard stuff. Which
that's first sentence really threw me off on this card. If an effect causes you to discard a card, discard it.
Yeah.
What does this card do?
What does it really do? But anyway, just wanted to point that out. I don't think it's ever really going to come up, but it is news that now you know. Yeah. And if you enjoy the news that we give you, and the podcast in general, we do have a Patreon. If you'd like to tip us just a little bit, helps pay for the beers. Some of these 11%ers, the ones we have to import from Iceland.
Yeah,
man, it gets expensive there.
If you've been to Iceland, it's not cheap, and it's not cheap to bring it over. So
it is true. But in all seriousness, being patrons help us with a lot of stuff. We love all of our patrons. Thank you to everyone who is a patron of the podcast already. And you get a sticker and some tokens in the mail that we got commissioned, which is super cool. It's just to show that you are regular of our podcast, and we appreciate you for being awesome. Jeff, do we want to talk about some spoilers? Strixhaven, sweet stuff.
We definitely should, because there's quite a lot to unpack here.
There are. I will say, hey. We are moving into like all of our sets are getting squished together, but our actual like real spoiler season went from like 3 weeks to like they're really squishing it down into like we're just getting it out there, which I like a lot. I very much appreciate the like kind of shotgun blast of, well, this is the set. I do like that.
They try to hold on to like one or two little tidbits,
little nuggets, towards the end, some things that, or they show you like different cycles, but they're like, we're going to hold on to most of them for a while. But Jeff, let's start off with the big ones. A couple big ones that just came out. We have 2 Planeswalkers, which is different.
Zach, who cares about Planeswalkers? They're always like hyper-focused cards about some sort of theme that isn't supported. And then on top of that, they're bad. Like, who cares? That's the modern era, Zach.
That's true.
I know we used to talk about Planeswalkers. But...
I mean, what if I told you they decided, you know what, they don't need a static ability. They can just be normal for ability Planeswalkers.
I'd tell you had too much of that 11% beer, my friend.
Well... In fact, we do have exactly what I just said. It's great. We have 2 new Planeswalkers. Ral Zarek, and we have Professor Fell, Delian Fell. I want to talk about Professor Fell first, so I will read him.
Sure.
Professor Delian Fell is 2 black green for a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker, Delian. This is the first time we've seen this character, by the way. So always excited when we get a new character. 4 abilities. You can +2 to gain 3 life. Full stop.
Okay.
You can 0 to draw a card and lose 1 life. You can -3 destroy target creature.
Okay.
And -6, you get an emblem with whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Sweet. Okay. This is very simple. This feels like foundation level planeswalkers, and I love it. Like,
I love this too, because this is a mid-range card, man.
It's very mid-range. Yeah.
Yeah. This is like if you design a sort of 4-mana Golgari mid-range, like what's the kind of thing you're looking for? This is the kind of thing I'm looking for. It can gain life. It can, get me card advantage. It can deal with threats, but also it could just win the game because you ultimate and then you're rhinoing your opponent every turn, or you're lightning helixing your opponent every turn. Very, very neat. And then obviously, like, it's very like slick design, because the downside on the 0 is the gaining 3. It all kind of ties together in a neat little package, but it is very, to your point, reminiscent of those very old school Planeswalker designs.
Yeah.
Where for a really long time, almost every 5-mana Planeswalker was some variant of like plus for card advantage, minus to destroy something, and then big minus to take over the game in some way. And the ultimate isn't quite like those things that you usually had to plus them like 4 times to get to the ultimate, and you never wanted to do that because the minus was crucial
really
to kill
important.
something.
Yeah.
So this feels like, hey, if I play this on an empty board, I can plus ultimate. This stays around, and then I can just start helixing you.
Yeah.
Or drawing cards, if that's what I feel like I should be doing. Very nice.
Yeah, I think it's clean. It feels clean and crisp. I enjoyed that. It does. I mean, okay. So I said I was going to talk about one card, but you're talking about a whole deck, Jeff. There is another card that kind of goes with this that like could fit into this. Whether this is actually like a mid-rangey thing or not. It's a little bit more of a controlling card, but it is a mono black sorcery. Withering Curse is 1 black for a mythic sorcery. All creatures get -2/-2 until end turn. Or it has Infusion, which is a new ability. It says, if you gained life this turn, destroy all creatures instead. Hand in hand with our friend Professor Delian Fell here. Because you can always kill all the early aggression to keep your planeswalker alive, or just plus wipe the whole board, and then you're pretty clear to just ultimate the following turn, which is sweet. I don't know. These two look really nice together, but I like this. Some of these designs feel so simple, which I wasn't expecting from a Strixhaven set. I'm just going to say. I was expecting some convoluted bullshit.
Weren't we, though? Because we were talking last time about how they like to over-index. They like to go hard the other way when a set is known for something. Although I don't necessarily feel like they did that. I think we're starting with some of the simpler cards.
We are, but those are the ones that I like to read the most because they have the least amount
for
of
sure.
words.
I'm like, whoa, that Planeswalker has fewer words than an average common.
It's true. It's true. It really is true. But no, pretty sick. I'm excited for some of these cool things. Like, and it's also interesting that the other Planeswalker that we have is also black.
Yeah. So let's talk about Ral Zarek, because I dig this card too. Ral Zarek, guest lecturer. 1 black. Heyo. If you know who Ral Zarek is, you might not have been expecting that.
Nope.
He is a legendary planeswalker, Ral, of course, and comes into play with 3 loyalty counters. You can +1 to Surveil 2. You can -1 any number of target players, each discard a card. You can -2 return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Or you can -7, and here's how we know it really is Ral. Flip 5 coins. Target opponent skips their next X turns, where X is the number of coins that came up heads. Hey, if you can't win the game when they're missing their next 2.5 turns, I don't know what you're doing in the aggro deck that's playing this card.
Which, obviously, this is a callback to Ral Zarek, the OG card, where you flip 5 coins, you got to take extra turns. So this is obviously
cool.
flipping it against them.
I forgot what the original one did. I just knew that it flipped coins. But yeah, it's good. That's cool to note that it's like anti-Ral.
It is the anti-Ral.
And it's about discarding, whereas the original Ral did some drawing.
Yeah. So cool. Weird because we weren't necessarily. I mean, this is not so much about the card, but it's more so about Ral's mono black. This is so strange.
Yeah. Well, I like this card too because I've been playing. We'll get to this a little later, but I've been playing some red-black discard, and I like everything about this card in that deck. Just playing it and bringing back the Moon Shadow that they always kill is just a very nice thing to do. That
is nice.
Sticks around, and then the discard. I like that it hits both of us. And so it's you have to discard, and I get to discard. Surveil 2, also quite strong for +1. Not for 3 mana, you want to be doing more than Surveil 2, but you're hoping this is if it's getting Moonshadow back, Surveil 2, it's a decent card for 3 mana.
That's true.
And I kind of dig it. It's neither of these cards is that pushed. In terms of raw rate, so things would have to go right, I think, for them to find their way into standard. But I don't hate these for planar. Just saying.
I agree. They seem kind of cool. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be the one playing either of them, but I do.
I'm going to try both. Of them.
I know. They're very Jeff coded, but they're both very cool. I do just. This is not about the card, but Ral Zarek being black means it's basically this is our first big precursor to Reality Fracture, because we know from the end of the Lorwyn story that Liliana saw a white version of herself where they were both coexisted together. So this is not our beloved Ral Zarek. This is a alternate dimension Ral Zarek. I don't believe our Ral Zarek has had a change of heart. This is just a different person altogether. Or I guess a different, whatever. They're from a multiverse and blah, 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 blah. Magic's a little behind on the whole multiverse thing, I think. I think it's kind of run its course in media and everyone's kind of tired of it. And Magic's just diving right
figuring
into
out
it.
what it's about.
It's about 6 years a little too late. But
have you guys heard of the many worlds theory?
Yeah, isn't it cool and interesting? And aren't we so excited to think about all the different little...
Let's explore the ramifications of that.
Yeah. Anyway, but this is the beginning of us getting into that stuff. So we have this guy, which I think is cool. I like them randomly choosing Ral. I guess no, he was on Bloomborough, so maybe he's been in people's minds. But it seems kind of interesting. Okay, was thinking Johnny's been around and some other people, but we'll just take somebody else. All right, sure. Cool. Cool cards though. It's also kind of the point of Wizards saying, hey, we decided to do this thing where we had very niche planeswalkers, and then we had one planeswalker per set, and they were colorless, so that we didn't have to really decide or try to do a rotation. And now they're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do 2 black planeswalkers. That's fine.
Yeah.
We don't really care.
Because they've kind of, by doing the thing they did before, they've moved away from the earlier paradigm, which was that the set is about the planeswalkers. Like, those are always the first cards you look to. They're often the most powerful cards. And they always tried to make it so that they're balanced across colors in some way. And now they're just like, we've moved into a zone where, like, nobody even plays planeswalkers. Like, none of the ones they print ever see any play. And so they can print 2 black ones, because who cares? You know?
Yeah, it's true. That's true. I also appreciate, that, where it's like, so much of the story got screwed up because they were just trying to balance the colors of planeswalkers that were going to different places.
Yeah.
It was, like, so frustrating.
It was crazy for a while.
We were like, really, is Vivian friends with them? Like, come on. Like, or just like, we just need a green planeswalker around for something, weird stuff like that. We were like, okay, this just feels like a weird hodgepodge of whatever. And so it does feel better when they're just like, you know what?
And the sets come out so fast, They could do 2 black ones in this one, and then, a bunch of white and red ones in the next one. Doesn't matter.
Well, except for we're not going to have planeswalkers again until October, so because the sets do come out fast, but we don't get any planeswalkers for Universes Beyond sets.
Okay,
so.
But in this particular instance, yes.
Okay, I see.
General.
I just want that's one of the things about Universes Beyond that we don't get planeswalkers. Anyway,
and I barely even noticed that. So because they had done such a good job deprioritizing planeswalkers already,
I think that might have been part of it. I also think that just like they might have realized people just don't like planeswalkers as much as they think that people do.
Right.
So, unless you love planeswalkers out there, shout out to whoever. I do want to point out really quickly though, the watermark on Ral Zarek. I actually didn't realize this until right now. What is that? He's got a weird watermark on the card. It's not one of the colleges. It's just like a weird snail kind of looking thing.
Yeah. I'm
That's...
trying to see if it's like an inverted one of the other symbols, but not really.
I don't think so. Yeah, okay, this is the first time I've actually noticed that. So, anyway, that must be an important symbol in Reality Fracture. Right? Is that just denoting that it's from a different plane?
Oh. Well,
that's cool.
Easter egg they're giving us there.
Yeah.
Good spot.
I did not. Wow. That's cool. I had no idea. Wow, I didn't even... Has anyone thought about this yet? I should feel so cool. Anyway,
I feel like I have to post about it on Blue Sky right now.
I have to make a TikTok video at this instant during our podcast. Sorry. Anyway, Jeff, could you quickly, while I film my video, can you talk about another card?
Yes, I think if we're going to talk about Strixhaven, let's talk about some dragons. Some elder dragons. And
that's right, buddy.
the one I think is the coolest is the one I'm going to read. But there is a theme, overarching theme to these, which I think is neat as well. But the one that I like is Lorehold the Historian. This is 3 white, red for a legendary creature, Elder Dragon, 5/5 flying haste. It says each instant and sorcery card in your hand has Miracle 2, which means you may cast a card for its miracle cost when you draw it, if it's the first card you draw this turn. So, basically, everything gets miracle. Because when they say in your hand, it means like, because when you draw it, it's in your hand. And so if that was the first card you drew. So it sounds a little weird to give things in your hand miracle, but that is actually the way it works. It actually gives everything in your deck miracle. But then it has this cool rider, which is at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So it gives you a draw step on your opponent's turn, which will be the first card you drew that turn. Because normally Miracle is kind of like, or the way it's the baseline design is the first card you draw on your turn. And you don't draw cards on your opponent's turn, so you don't get to Miracle during their turn. But as fans of older formats know, it's not how it works. You actually get to like brainstorm on your opponent's turn and draw something that you probably shouldn't be allowed to cast at that time, and then cast it. So this card kind of facilitates that for you, and this one just seemed the coolest to me. But I liked, there's a lot of like wonky stuff going on. Of like, my initial reading was, why would I want stuff in my hand to have miracles? And I'm like, wait, of course. That's how it has to work. And then it gives you the draw step on your opponent's turn, and it discards which Lorehold's faction is interested in like graveyard-based synergies. So it kind of gets you there as well. Plus,
true.
It's a 5/5 flying haste.
That's also true. There's a lot going on with this. Miracle 2 is very good. A lot of the Miracle cards that you would want, like a bunch of the best ones were like X spells, right? So you kind of imagine like, oh, if I draw this, I just tap all my lands right now and just play it. But this is like...
Now, X spells are particularly bad with this.
You're correct, yeah. So it's funny because like this gives all your cards Miracle, but... you can't play miracles in your deck for the most part because most of those are all the good ones are X's. So that's kind of funny. Obviously, that's if you're building a commander deck. I'm not talking about... we don't have...
I mean, Terminus is pretty good, though, right?
That's true. You could play
but
that.
You don't need this for Terminus. Terminus is cheaper than this. So.
That's true. And just to clarify for everyone, so that means that if you draw a sorcery on your opponent's turn, you do get to cast it.
Yes, right. Which seems like it shouldn't be how it works, but it is.
Yeah, similar to like the Madness thing that they had fixed, where you're discarding cards on your opponent's turn and you're casting creatures. Yeah,
it's like old school design. They wouldn't design it this way if they were designing Miracle today, I think. But...
yeah. It always feels like they didn't do it on purpose. But in actuality, it's usually, oh, we thought it would be really cool if you got to do this broken thing.
Yeah, they used to have this idea that like it's fun to find the way to break it, which maybe was more true back in the past, but today that would be broken in 0.5 seconds by Reddit. And then you'd be like, okay, I guess I'm just supposed to do that this Reddit
and then that's
said.
the only thing you can do. Yeah. That's true. That is true. When there's no... the puzzle of Magic might be more fun when there's no internet. So...
or at least when it's just not as ubiquitous. Like, I don't get an alert on my phone like somebody broke Magic.
Yeah.
The second they print a card.
It's true. It's very true. But I did just want to say... I think that all the dragons, like there's one for every house, there's all 5 of them, are pretty... I like what they did with the designs, in that, like, Lorehold gives all your instants and sorceries Miracle. All of the different dragons give your instants and sorceries some ability. Prismari gives Storm, Silverquill gives Casualty... Witherbloom gives affinity for creatures.
That's the one I like the least. I get like the tokens thing, but
but it's definitely less exciting. It makes all your cards cheaper to cast, but all the best Witherbloom or I guess green black spells are like heavy green black.
Yeah,
in their pips. It's like Casualties of War and things like that. Obviously, this is much
plus it
more
has flying. Like it's a 5/5 death touch, so it just kind of bugs me. It feels like Witherbloom got kind of hosed here. They got
well, that's because the last time Witherbloom was awesome. So I feel like they do that thing where they just kind of pull back on him.
I just wanted it to be awesome again.
Yeah, because the first time it was you could pay a bunch of life and untap all your lands or something, and it was like sick as hell. But honestly, this time around, I will say
that's what you could do. That was really cool.
it was really cool.
So
And this one,
like lame.
well, this one has a similar thing where it's like, hey, things don't cost as much, right? The other one said the same thing, but it just did it in a cooler way.
I always find the tension that I guess all of these kind of have, but this one really hammers it home. The tension of you want both creatures and spells is never as interesting in practice as they seem to think it is in design. Where it's like, oh, you having more creatures makes your spells cheaper, so there's this weird deck building challenge of doing both. And it's like, nope, it's either just sucks or it's like you just have to play token makers that are all spells, so they get cheaper with this, but they make creatures. And then it's like, if I have a zillion tokens, oh yay, my next token maker is cheaper,
Sure, yes. I do agree.
But I'm sure it's a fun card for certain, like, very specific commander builds.
Yeah, I guess the one thing I do like about it is that this is one of the only dragons that like can be 2 mana, and so that you could both feasibly play Witherbloom and play a spell on the same turn. Where most of the other ones are kind of like you get to play this and then, well, but the Quandrix one gives Cascade, so you do get something just for casting it. But everyone is freaking out about the Prismari one. I might as well just read it anyway. But they're just like, everybody's losing their shit over this card. Prismari, the inspiration, is a 5 blue red for a 7/7 legendary creature, Elder Dragon. It has flying, and it has ward, pay 5 life. It's expensive, or hard, but like it doesn't cost mana, so you can still kill it. It says instant and sorcery spells you cast have storm, which is exciting because then you can storm off. But it is 7 mana to cast, and so like I've seen some people talk about how if you cast Prismari and then you hold up a counterspell, if your opponent tries to kill it, you get to cast counterspell with a storm copy, which like doesn't really matter. But you do.
Is that 10 mana or 9, I guess.
It's like 9 mana, 9 or 10 mana, and so it's like, yeah, but that's so much mana to have. Like,
yeah,
it's just absurd. I don't know if that's like a bunch of. I'm just like falling into the commander.
I prefer to just get my opponent to 5 life, and then they can't kill my Prismari. That's how I would do it.
Yes, that's like better. But
and then I don't need the storm thing because they're at 5 and I have a 7/7 flyer.
That's also true. But it seems like so expensive.
This card doesn't seem good to me, but if they're talking about commander, maybe. I don't know anything about that, and
I guess that's
more castable. But
I guess that's the kind of thing that just comes up. But still, 7 mana is still really expensive in commander. Like, people need to fucking calm down.
Don't you have your soul rings and your dark rituals? Do people play that? Probably not.
No. It just seems. It seems like. Remember that card we had last year? It was Storm, the Dragon Storm thing.
Yeah.
Or it was like, yeah, you cast it and then you get copies for every card that's been cast before, but it was pretty expensive. This kind of reminds me of that, where it was like everybody was
like a
freaking
Scourge card. Dragonstorm.
No. This one was. It was a dragon that had Storm.
Oh yes, okay.
I remember, and it was like a Dragon Lord, and Tarkir Dragonstorm.
And Tarkir Dragonstorm had a lot of good cards, but that was not
one of them. But it had Storm on it, so everybody lost their shit. This feels like the same type of thing. There are definitely silly things that can happen with this card if it's on the battlefield.
Sure.
But
I thought this was the second worst one, though. Mostly because I'm so mad at the Witherbloom one.
Yeah, but just like paying 5 life is not... It doesn't prohibit you unless you're at 5 or less. Yeah. So it's much harder when you have to actually pay mana or real resources and stuff. You almost always have 5 life to pay if you want to pay it. That's the thing about that. it feels like it hurts so much more when they cast something and you're like, well, I have to discard a card, but I didn't save anything in my hand to discard for this spell because it's the end of the game, or like I can't.
I just don't understand it. Like, it's got to be Commander, right? Because in the normal format, by the time you get this on the battlefield, you don't have anything in your hand. You don't have You don't have the ability to play a bunch of stuff and then
exactly.
Like,
yeah.
What are you holding in your hand? It's 7 mana. So
it's 7 mana.
Unless you're cheating it out.
It's got to be that. It's literally got to be what I'm falling into, and that is this kind of side tangent, but this is the funny thing that happens. We were talking about Magic and the internet. This is the world that you live in, where you're evaluating new cards, and it happens every single set release, and people are losing their minds about different things for different reasons, and there always just seems to be conversations where there's like a disconnect because like they're not talking about the same format, and it's just
it's true. We were talking about the Reddit guy who breaks new cards, a second after they're posted. That happens for every card. Every card has a Reddit guy who breaks it in 1 second and says it's ruining the game and has broken Magic.
Exactly.
And only one of them's right.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I'm not going to play this card. I don't expect to play against this card. My main thing against this card, too, is like, the only way I could see this working is if you have some sort of weirdo half Storm deck, half cheat this into play deck. And at that point, I'm like, Blue-Red just has easier ways to win the game, man. Like, easier, more consistent ways to get you dead by turn 3 anyways. So
yeah, there are so many blue-red decks in Standard right now, or different things you could do. This is not going to be one of them. Not by a long shot. So like, cool. Like, I really hope that you can like storm off your like the dream. The dream is that you get this card and the ideation, so you get to draw 6 cards off of your Ancestral Recall, but like also you have a 7/7 and 5/5 that have flying, like you're gonna win the game.
Yeah. What are we
like those are the
up?
cards.
Like setting up
drawing?
with a 7/7 flyer is such a weird concept to me.
It's ridiculous.
It's my setup card.
Anyway, so yeah, as far as the dragons go, I just wanted to point that out, that like if you see that stuff online, just I wish that we could just have tags that were like in Commander or in Standard or in whatever, but like you just fall into those conversations and you're like, wait, sorry, we're talking about different things. I will get away from that.
I'll excuse myself.
Yeah.
But you know what? No, I'm going to passionately fight about this.
Tooth and nail.
About a format I don't even play.
Yeah. Which is something I do want to talk about, Jeff. I want to hear your first thoughts right here, right now. There are new pest tokens. Okay.
I know.
All right. So you already answered my question. So the old pest tokens, it's a 1/1 pest. When it dies, you gain a life. New pest token, it's a 1/1. When it attacks, you gain 1 life. That sucks.
Strict downgrade. Because
Strict downgrade.
you could already do that with the old ones. Virtually. Because you would do this thing where you attack with them and they would have to block because they don't want to take the damage.
Yeah.
So it's just worse.
They just nerfed. They nerfed the pest tokens because they also don't help you like stay alive, in an attempt to convince people to attack with them and make Witherbloom more of an aggressive archetype as opposed to a sit back and build up archetype. Which, if that comes together, I would be interested. But it does make the whole sacrificing your pests thing not good.
Makes it awful.
You're like, yeah, you're not interested in it anymore. Where before it was like, yeah, sick. I get to sacrifice the thing. I gain 1 life. That's great. Do this stuff. Blah, 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 blah. And
so
now like...
That is a perfect segue into how I discovered this. And I'm glad you brought it up. Because there's a card I was going to talk about. And the first thing I was going to say about this card is, how did they not use this name last time? But apparently they didn't. And so we do have a Witherbloom uncommon.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Teacher's Pest.
Yeah.
Which is a black-green skeleton pest, 1/1 menace. Whenever it attacks, you gain 1 life. Black-green, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. I thought this said 1/1 menace. When it dies, you gain 1 life. Return from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. I was like, whoa. Somewhat interested in that. And then I read it, and I was like, why does it say when it attacks you gain 1 life? Like, that's super weird. Because it's a pest. And normally when they do that, like when they make something a food, they give it the food ability, right? So when you make something a pest, it should have the pest ability. But it doesn't. That's odd. And then I just kind of like forgot about that card, went on my merry day reading all the other pest cards, and then I read Lewin, Exchange Student. So this is 2 black-green for a 3/4, enters prepared, which Zach was right about what prepared does.
Oh, wait, real quick. Can you say that one more time?
Zach was right.
That feels
About
good. Wow.
His total guess on what the prepared mechanic was going to be.
I think you owe me some beers. I think you owe me beers.
I wasn't saying you were wrong. In fact, I think I said you were most likely correct. I was just pointing out that
All right,
there
so you're
are
saying
really terrible versions of the mechanic they could print.
It's okay. That's true, but I think you owe me some beer. Anyway, keep reading.
Yeah.
Keep reading.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. Exile a card from your graveyard. Lewin becomes prepared. Activate as a sorcery. And then it has Pest Friend. Create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with, whenever this token attacks, you gain 1 life. When I saw that, I was like, those sons of... I don't want to say anything too rude on the air, but...
Yes.
Why? I know you already
also-
said why, but now we just have a different pest token.
Yeah. So I part of it is yes. Okay. Sorry. I have many things I want to say. First thing, I don't like it when they make the same thing but different.
And I get it,
So-
like, okay, there's a ton of different variants of goblin tokens. Like, some of them have haste, some of them don't, and some of them have first strike. But that is not something to be desired,
No.
right? Like, and when it's something so specific, pest tokens, outside of weird cards from weird sets, are for the most part only going to show up here. And so...
I'm pretty sure they're only from Strixhaven, and all the pests do exactly the same thing.
Right. And
so they
like-
have now decided to change that and be like, actually, pests do this. And now in your collection, it's confusing.
this is where I feel bad for commander players who want to build a Witherbloom deck and are going to use some cards from this set and some cards from last time.
Because you have some that die and some that attack, and it's just like, you gotta be freaking kidding
And
me,
they're
man.
also they're 1/1s. It's not even like these ones are 1/2s or something. Which
Yeah, or
would
something.
Help them attack and just be a clear delineator, like a clear difference.
Yes.
Other than text that looks very similar. It's like when
Or-
blank gain 1 life.
Yeah.
and
Like they could even make them like mono black pests or something, or mono green,
Right.
so they're a different color. Just make them
or it
different.
doesn't have to be called a pest, you know, like
Yeah. Like I actually, Jeff, I'm getting pretty worked up right now. I think I'm going to film
there's
another
enough
TikTok.
words in the English language. They didn't have to
getting-
use pest again.
I'm getting pissed about these pests. This
Your TikTok feed, or I don't know how it works.
I'm
but
getting
you're
freaking
content.
ticked off.
Oh, it could have been a tick token.
Yeah, God, that's all they needed was some sort of tick token.
But then people might confuse it for like, oh, I'm TikToking.
Yeah, they would not for sure. It'd
That's
be
what
fine.
the kids say.
The No, Jeff, have you watched those videos of like old people learning new kid slang? Because I haven't heard any of the things.
I
have
haven't
no idea
seen
what's
them,
going on.
but I've lived them.
Interesting. We're like past Skibbity Toilet or whatever the hell that was.
Oh,
Like there's
then
other
never mind.
stuff.
That's-
No, there's
that's where
other
I was
things. Okay, yeah. We're in another world now.
I felt
it's
cool
wild.
recently because I had to explain to like the generation above me what drip meant because somebody was talking about drip, and I was like, "Oh, he's talking about his
Yeah.
clothing." And they were like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's saying he dresses well. He's very sartorial."
Yeah. All right, Jeff. Now it's called look maxing. Okay, you're
hate
you're
that.
behind the times. Yeah. It's the same as aura farming and all that. Like,
Yeah, I hate that wave of. I mean, it is
Yeah.
very on the nose. I know what it means as soon as you say it, but like,
yes.
I don't agree
Which is nice.
with.
I mean, I will say I like aura and aura farming, but for obvious reasons.
Boo. They should call it. They should call it bogle farming.
That's what we should call it in Magic. Yeah. Except for don't farm boggles because they let them live free.
They seem
let
like
them.
a bit of a pest.
Oh, you can't farm them because they're too good. They beat up on
You
everybody.
can't
They
farm because
they farm
can't
you.
get your hands on them.
Yeah, they're too slippery.
You try to grab them, you can't, and then they go pick up some big fucking sword and come right down.
They slip into some armor. You're like, how'd you get so big all of a sudden?
What is going on?
And then they just like run right past you or fly
Why do you have
over
so many pairs of pants on?
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of root sweatpants. Sorry, that's a different deck entirely. But anyway,
That was a
I am.
series of jokes that varying degrees of our listener base will understand. But
Yeah, it's fine. I am pissed about this pest thing, though. I agree. Let things be the same, or if they're different, make it obvious that they're different. Do we have inklings again? Right? Anyway, sorry. They just specifically made a bunch of tokens for all the different schools last time, and the fact that they're changing it just.
And I feel like they got it right last time. Now they're changing it to be weird and worse. Like,
It's the one thing I wanted to say about this is that last time we were in Strixhaven, at least in the draft format, or just like maybe in general, but the cards that did well, it ended up being like the teamer colors, and it was a lot of like the cast big spells kind of thing, and that was the deck that wanted to sit back and have the big end game. While Witherbloom, the sacrificey deck, also needed to sit back and win the end game, but it couldn't go over the top of the teamer deck, or like the mascot exhibition, whatever that is. And so it kind of like fell in the middle, and it wasn't very good. It was better than Lorehold, which was the worst, but it wasn't as fast as Silverquill, which was not the best, but it was like the most aggressive deck. And so this time around, they're like, well, what if we just make it more aggressive? Because like it wasn't good enough being the slow deck, which is the only thing I can think about that is possible of why they decided to do this. But I don't like it. I'm with you. I wish they were the same. They could have just been Lumerettes or something. Anyway, sorry. I'm gonna get off of it. I'm gonna get off of it.
let's move away from Witherbloom because it just
We should.
just
Let's
grinds our
move. Let's move to a worse color combination objectively. But there is a new mechanic that we do have to talk about. It's very important. Jeff, increment. There's a card. It's very exciting. We do want to talk about it. It is of course, it's the Quandrix, the green-blue deck, or I guess class, school? Anyway, sorry, this 11%
House?
beer is hitting me like a house right now, or like a truck. So if I'm talking slower, it's because I'm really trying to focus right now. So, I'm going to read the card. It's gold.
11 is
It's called
a big number.
Cuboid Colony. It is green-blue for a 1/1 creature insect uncommon. It has flash. It has flying. It has trample. It also has increment, which says whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana you spent is greater than this creature's power or toughness, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Now, did I choose an example where the power and toughness were the exact same? I did. But I also picked one that's very cool and good and the most interesting one.
Yeah, I dig this one.
In my eyes. This is a cool card. So this is a evolution of Evolve, which we got from a Ravnica set years ago. Where whenever you played a creature with greater power or toughness than the creature with Evolve, it would get a counter. This does the same thing, but except for instants and sorceries, and it cares about their mana value.
Well, not just instants and sorceries.
Sorry. Whenever you cast a spell, you're right. Oh my god, Jeff, you're right. You totally got me. So it cares about spells, and it cares about the amount of mana you spent to cast it.
And I think this is more in line. Stuff. Yeah, it's more in line with like the spirit of Evolve to me, which was like you're supposed to curve out, and your thing gets bigger every time. Whereas what really happened with Evolve is like you would get the counter the first time. And then when you play your 3-drop, it might not be bigger than it anymore, so it doesn't get the counter and stuff.
Yeah, this is like you eventually can't get more counters, and like the design space was like, oh, you played like a 0/5 because
you played
just
like
one
weird
of the numbers to be big
things. Yeah,
and so it's just like not very exciting. Or
this is much cleaner.
It's much cleaner.
It does kind of what you want it, what you think it does.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
Now it gets a bit weird, right? Because like this one starts at 1, which is kind of nice. So you can, it's sort of easier to track, I guess. But when you don't start at 1, it's kind of weird, right?
It is really weird when you don't start at 1. When you start at like. Well, some of them are like 0/2s. You know, there's a bunch of different.
I guess not. Like if you start at, you just start at whatever you start at. I guess so. Whatever its power and toughness are.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, but this one's good. I think.
It's a good card. Flash, flying, and trample, and it gets bigger.
It has. You know, we all know Flample, flying and trample.
Yeah.
But this has Flaflample.
Flaflample. I like it. Flaflamplement.
Oh, of course. Yeah. We better, you know what? We better get this right now because this is something that's going to come up a lot, over and over.
Yeah. People are gonna be saying Flaflamplement for years.
Yeah, and just like there's going to be cards that constantly are printed with Flaflamplement.
Well, the next pest token is going to come out. It's going to say it has Flaflamplement.
Yeah.
You may cast this token as though it had flash.
As though it had Flaflamplement.
Yeah, Flaflamplement.
If you do, gain 1 life.
Gain 1 life. Oh god, that's yeah. If you...
No, it doesn't have Flaflamplement, but you may cast it as though it did.
As though it had Flaflamplement.
It's still just a 1/1.
It's still just a 1/1. No flying, no trample, no increment. If you cast this on your opponent's turn, you gain 1 life.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Peak
God.
design.
Yeah. I think honestly they should just like bundle all those mechanics together, and that's the perfect card.
Yeah. And then we have sorceries that create pest tokens, which you cannot play at instant speed.
So they will never gain life. Oh god!
It's the token that you may cast as though it has Flaflamplement.
Yes, not the actual spell. And the token you can never cast.
Yeah.
Oh boy! All right.
Still be better than the one they went with this time.
It's true. Bummer, man. I'm sorry.
All right.
Sorry, I just want to say for those of you who are newer to the podcast, before Jeff was a Rakdos player, he was a Golgari player, and that's why this hurts so hard.
Yeah. And before I was a Golgari player, I was a Rakdos player, so it's come full circle. But
no,
there was
Jeff, before you're a Golgari player, you were a Boros player. Get out of here.
Okay, well, that's even going further back. But
Okay.
yeah, I was an OG Boros guy. And now I like Boros again, too. So kind of
Yeah.
come full circle.
I think you've liked Boris the whole time. I don't think you ever stopped liking Boris.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Forever
one thing,
anti-Is-It. And Simic. Simic I hate most of all.
yeah, I have a soft spot for Is It in certain builds, but they have to be like the cast a bunch of spells in one turn, kill you with a creature thing, and not the discard a bunch of cards, kill you with an artifact thing. I don't like that as much. Jeff,
Yeah.
who does that in other colors.
I felt very nothing about Is-It for most of the time. It's just been the past few years where I just lose to it all the time in every format that it's started to get on my nerves a little bit.
Well, I just wonder,
all.
it was like this last year, and then it was when they were taking a bunch of extra turns back in like Midnight Hunt or whatever.
But that's just standard. And the other formats, like, it's always the best. Phoenix.
They always,
whatever,
yeah. Thank God they killed Pioneer, so we don't have to play against.
So we have to play.
Phoenix
You don't have to
Renegade
lose to
anymore.
Is-It. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. What I really
But
want
yes, I do love my black-green jank, and I feel like they're taking it away from me in this set.
that's true.
No, I just wanted to very quickly comment on, before this 11% beer makes me forget, we do have a cycle of dual lands in this format that has been
Jeff.
revealed.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. We can talk about it. I've been trying to talk about a card for a while, but like, sure. Okay. We'll talk about the land.
Very quickly.
Like yelling over here. All right. What have we got? Tell us.
Deathcap Glade. Slander just tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. Tap to add black or green. It notably not typed. So it's just a land.
That's true.
These are called slow lands.
Yes, we've had these.
We've
before.
seen them before. They're fine. These are not what I was hoping for, but they're better than Snarls. So I guess we got to take it.
I was gonna say these are great. I'm happy with these. Snarls were horrible.
I know. If the benchmark is Snarls, these are awesome. But
I will say that these do bode well, obviously, for decks that want to go long, which tend to be decks I don't want to play. And so getting, Shattered Sanctum, the white-black one, or like Sundown Pass, the Boros one, they don't really always want to play this card.
although that kind of makes sense. Like, it's kind of fun that the Boros card is a slow land in this set. Because
of
Lorehold is like
Lorehold is
a
slow.
slower version of the color
Yeah.
pair.
Well, it's
And I
funny because
guess-
they did that the first time with the Snarls, because those are really slow too,
Yeah.
because they never enter untapped.
Yeah, those are the true slow lands.
True slow lands. This enters tapped unless you flip 5 coins and they're all heads.
Yeah. This is a tap land, but we're going to trick you into thinking it's not. And I guess, based on my complaining, Storm Carved Coast. This is not a huge boon to the Is It decks that I don't
That's
like.
right. It's not. It's just kind of like they might run 1 copy or something.
Yeah,
but
1, 2 max.
yeah.
Probably anyone who's running 2 is probably wrong. But
If anything, this is a huge boon to Soul Tie decks.
assuming that they're slow jank.
Which they always are. There's never been a
of course.
not
I
slow
know.
jank Soul
I
Tie
know.
deck, right?
I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah. No. So Soul Tie decks win. The thing I was going to say is Sundown Pass and Stormcard Coast. They don't go in Boros and they don't go in Is It, but they do go in Jeskai, which
Yes.
is what it's exactly what Jeskai wants.
Yeah.
Which we
Luckily, that's the worst deck that people actually play in Standard. Although, it seems pretty good in Planar.
That's what I was going to say, Jeff. I've cracked my second beer. Is it time to just start talking about Planar Standard?
I thought you had a card you wanted to talk about.
Oh, well, I did, but you ruined it, and I'm over it.
Okay. I just, you gotta speak louder. Maybe turn up the gain on your mic.
Wow, rude. You know that I'm going to change all the levels once I edit
shoot.
all of this.
Yeah.
And it's
Don't chirp
and
the
I'll just-
editor on mic volume.
I'm gonna make you so quiet.
I'll just start yelling.
No, sorry. I did actually want to say one last thing. It wasn't necessarily a card I wanted to talk about, but it was a concept. We've talked a lot about concepts with Strixhaven. I'll probably bring this up a lot of other times, but we have 3 big mechanics that care about spells. Like of the 5 mechanics in the set, we have the Witherbloom one, which is gain life. Sure. We have Flashback. That's great. Flashback's awesome. But we have Opus, which says whenever you cast instants and sorceries, do something, and then if they're big, do something else. We have Increment that says whenever you cast spells, if you spent a bunch of mana, you get to put counters on stuff. And we have Repartee. Repartee is the Silver Quill one, which says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature. So, I'm not going to read a specific card, but it's like, hey, do you want to get paid off for casting a spell? Or do you want to get paid off for casting a spell that targets a creature? Do you want to get paid off for casting a spell that has more, you spent more mana on than your creature's power? Or do you want to get rewarded for casting a spell that targets a creature? Now, I will say, it doesn't say a creature you control. So it does let you get things for casting removal spells. But Opus spells also care about removal spells.
Sure.
And so does Increment. So it really means that Silver Quill kind of gets the bottom of the barrel as far as like the spells stuff. I mean, like, it just means that the rest of the Repartee cards have to be good. Like, you better get paid off.
The bar is higher to cross, so the payoff better be.
Like, those cards better be good.
Yeah.
Because the Opus ones are just like, we're just throwing counters around. We're just dealing damage. We're just doing whatever. And, like, Increment is, well, we only throw counters around. But, like, I just think
Zach, I think we all know the Repartee payoffs are not going to be worth.
They're not going to be worth the squeeze.
They're not going to be worth it. Yeah.
It's just... I'm annoyed because Silver Quill is my favorite. So, like, what?
Well, when I saw it, I was like, oh, Zach will like this because he likes pump spells and you get paid off for that. But then I was kind of like, but is this even like a mechanic? Really? Like, and then I was like, oh, and it doesn't even include auras? That's kind of cute.
No, it's just instants and sorceries. Well, Increment counts creatures. Like, what the fuck?
Increment counts everything.
Increment's like, hey, cast stuff.
Yeah.
And then, like, Repartee is like instants and sorceries that target stuff only. And Opus is like, just cast instants and sorceries. If they're big, they're even better. Like, fuck off. This is so annoying. Anyway, so it turns out that, like, your pest tokens and my...
Yeah,
spells or whatever.
We got shafted.
We got shafted this set. Kind of sucks. Whatever. I guess I'll just play blue red. Might as well. Sorry, Jeff. Let's move over to Planar Standard. Let's talk about something else. Something that we've done.
Yeah.
Something that we know. That we know.
Well,
we don't know.
I was going to say, holy, I guess we can't talk about Planar Standard.
No, we know some things. So
yeah,
we've been talking about this format a little bit. And it's lots of fun. If you don't know anything about Planar Standard, it is what Standard used to be. Essentially. Basically, the only sets that are legal in Standard are sets that have been around for like a 2-year period. So currently, as of this recording, before Strixhaven comes out, we have Foundations, because Foundations is always legal. It's just like a toolbox of cards, which is what it was meant to be. Yeah. Aetherdrift, Tarkir, Edge of Eternities, Lorwyn. Those 5. That's it. And then we will have Strixhaven will be the 6th, and then we will also get Reality Fracture, which will be 7, and then it will rotate moving into 2027. Very exciting.
Which would be back down to 5, right?
That is Yeah, it would be correct. Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Because we'll gain a new set with the
Yeah.
drop-off of 3 others. Also, there's no universes beyond, hence planar. It is only the planes of magic that are in universe. It's not necessarily because universes beyond are bad or they don't like universes beyond. It just makes it easier than every other set and skip the small sets. And yeah, it's just too complicated if you try to do it that way. It's much easier to be like, if it has an IP that's not magic, it's not in the format.
And you can explain it with that sentence you said at the first. It's at the
Yes.
beginning. It's the way standard used to be. And it used to
Yes.
be only 2 years, and there were no universes beyond sets.
Exactly. So it's very, very simple. The only card that is banned currently is Corey Steelcutter, because that's the only card on the ban list that it would be legal.
Yeah, it just inherits the ban list of standard, which I think also makes sense, honestly, just for like arena deck building purposes and stuff like that. I think, like, I haven't read anything about whether they intend to maintain an independent ban list of like, this card obviously is not a problem in big standard, but it's a problem in this format. But I honestly wouldn't worry too much about that, because if you remember what old standard used to be like, bans were quite rare. And so...
Because they'd rotate out so quickly that you're like, you only have to deal with that for 3 months and then it's done.
Yeah, or the cards supporting it rotate out, or like, and it just, there's such a small card pool that, yes, that sometimes that means like the good cards stand out, but often good cards need a supportive shell. Sometimes it's not there, you know what I mean? Whereas in the modern iteration of standard, the current iteration, everything has support pretty much.
Well, yeah, because they also purposely do that. They don't feel as tight. Like, example would be Bloomborough had a bunch of frogs. They just printed a frog into Strixhaven because Bloomborough is also in standard. They would never have done that if that was not the case. Not that frogs aren't cool, but whatever.
And like a frog makes sense in Bloomborough, but it's just like the reason they did it is because there is frog synergy that already exists.
Yeah. And they can say that it works in Strixhaven because there's a bunch of open paths and there's a bunch of people from a bunch of different planes that go to study there now, which is part of how Strixhaven has changed. But anyway, Jeff and I played in a tournament recently. A very small one, just a weekly tournament for the Planar Standard Discord. And we just wanted to quickly talk about some of the things that we had seen or learned, or really just, it was our first time playing the format for real, because you can't play, there's no queue on Arena. So if you want to play Planar Standard, you have to be part of things like this. And so we just want to talk about our experience and kind of help you bridge the gap if you are interested in doing such a thing, and what it's like, and how simple and easy it was to join and be a part of it, and how streamlined everything was. It was wonderful.
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning, right? So the sign up.
Sure.
So you're in the Discord channel. They make it very clear there's like a tournaments, like an events section, and then there's also an events sort of built into Discord. Discord's like a gaming thing, so you can, it's built to handle this kind of thing. And then you would go to sign up through, there'd be a link. If you're interested in this tournament, go register here. Sort of like a Melee thing, but I think
it's called Challenge.
Yeah, I was right. I was trying to remember that. I was like, the name was dumb, but
it was like Challenge, but there's an O and this like a
Challenge.
Challenge.
And so you would just sort of sign up there, and then when time for the tournament, I think there was maybe a 15-minute window before start time. That was to check in. Mm-hmm. And then what I noticed is that most of the people there just had their arena name as their challenge name, including the number.
Yeah.
And so I changed mine to match that as well. I was like, oh, okay, so I'll do that. And then you would, when it started, and you got matched with an opponent. And then my opponent in the first round added me as a friend and challenged me to a match of Planar Standard.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty seamless. Like, to actually, outside of a tournament, to play a match, you kind of have to go in the Discord and like flag someone down and interact like back and forth. Be like, oh, can you play it in half an hour? Like, no, I want to play now. Like, you have to do that whole song and dance. This was nothing. I just literally put my arena name in challenge. I don't think I interacted with anybody really, in case people are worried about that.
Yeah, if you don't want to, but I did. I talked to people on Arena.
Me too. Like I ended up doing that with my opponents, but in order to play, I didn't have to.
Yes, you're not required to. Yeah. But it was nice if people added you as a friend because they could just be like, "Good luck, have fun." And then you could chat a little bit or kind of talk about the match and stuff, which is like it feels like playing in a tournament. It was very nice.
It reminded me a bit of the really old days when Melee first started. And you would chat on Melee, though, not in Arena.
Yes.
But you would chat on Melee and just, some people were open to it and some people weren't. And, almost everyone would do the, like, good luck, have fun. And then post-game, sometimes you would have a chat, be like, oh, yeah, did you have this or whatever? And sometimes it'd just be like, GG. And
yeah, and you're just like, all right. But yeah, it was. I had a great time. I played very badly. It was not a good event for me. Not just like it was like the deck. I was playing the Jund Goblins list. I ended up playing. My first opponent was the builder of the Jund Goblins deck that I was playing, and he was playing a more streamlined mono red splash blue Goblins deck that was faster and better than mine.
I actually remember seeing that because I thought I was paired against that guy for some reason, like because we were before the actual pairings. We were just kind of. It was like just three pairings that weren't correct, basically. So I was checking out that guy, and I clicked, and his thing on Discord was like, there hasn't been a Goblins deck I haven't played or something, or like there's no just his like profile on Discord made it very clear this dude loves Goblins. And then the re-pairing happened, and I saw that you got paired against him. And I was like, well, for sure that's a Goblins mirror match. Like, because I knew you were on Goblins. Yeah. And I was like, he got paired against the Goblins guy, I think.
Yeah, because it was funny, because at the end of the tournament, when we were just chatting, he was asking me, like, oh, so what was, like, what list were you on? I was like, oh, it's just the one from the last, like, monthly tournament. He's like, oh, yeah, that's mine. That was me. I was in the
that
top
was
8.
me. I've iterated 17 times since then.
Yeah.
To really improve on the Goblins mirror match because people are copying my list.
Yeah, and I had made a fatal mistake. I won game 1, and game 2 I got land screwed, so like that didn't really count. Game 3, the reason that he was splashing blue was to play the enchantment that gives creatures trample and haste. Whatever is it one
Showdown or something?
Or no, it's from Tarkir Dragonstorm.
Anyway, I know the enchantments where you choose the cons
or
two color enchantments, and you choose which con you're.
But this one's like you choose Jeskai or you choose Mardu.
Right.
Anyway, so you choose. I guess Teamer. You choose Teamer. Which is the haste and trample.
Right, yeah, because it's blue-red.
Because blue-red. Anyway, so I made the fatal mistake of also just because I wasn't used to playing against just vehicles in general, but he played a vehicle that was the the Lifecraft engine from it's like the Lord, and then played a goblin afterwards, and I just fired off my removal spell, not realizing that the vehicle was going to have haste. And so then he was able to crew it and attack me for like 5. And I was like, God,
it's a pretty big mistake, yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake. I was drinking, so that might have been
Me
part
too,
of it.
yeah, so that might be. We might have similar stories.
But it was also my first match, so it was not like
I wasn't too deep in the cups.
I wasn't, not yet. So that was a bummer, because like I could have won that one. But no, lost the Goblins mirror match. And then pretty much the rest of my tournament was like I played. My last match I lost because it was a Rakdos mid-range deck I was not ready to play. That was like just you beat them, I think.
Emma, I think. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. But I had just lost because of like their deck was just better than mine. So they just crushed me. I was also like, I had a few beers by then, so it was my last match.
Yeah.
But the real tournament to me felt like the match I was expecting was like a Jeskai Dragons or like a 4-color Dragons control deck. Which I probably should have started with this, but whatever. The only reason I really wanted to play the Goblins deck was, well, there's 2 reasons. 1, I can't play it in Standard because it's not any good. 2 is because I really wanted to test Taster of Wares against control decks, because I thought that card was going to be good against control. And when I was playing, that ended up being the biggest part of those control matches, which was I have this creature that gets to eat stuff from your hand and I get to cast your spells. And this is great. And I lost one of the control games, but won the other control game. So I did end up 1-3 because it was just a 4-round tournament. So I did bad. But I had a lot of fun and got to actually play through what I wanted, which was, can I play this card against control? And I was very happy with the results of playing Taster of Wares against control decks. I just was not happy with playing it against any other deck, which was part of the problem. Because most of those decks didn't have any cards in their hand left by the time I played Taster of Wares. Which, obviously, my first Goblin opponent had already realized and was like, let's not play black. Let's just attack and attack. So.
Yeah. Honestly, there's a lot of similarities to my experience with that. So I played a black-red deck of my own creation, and it was black-red discard, basically. The central tenet of it is that Moonshadow is really good, and that for this kind of format, like, if you can, I feel like it's kind of a race to see who can find the best Moonshadow build to have that deck. You know, I'm not saying that's the absolute best thing to be doing, but I'm sure that's a real thing to be doing, and I just don't know who has solved it yet. And so my version was black-red. It's like Moonshadow, the Shark Pirate, who does a similar thing.
Marauding Mako.
Yeah, and then the Monument, and just some like Bloodghasts and Flamewake Phoenixes, and like a lot of the stuff you'd see in big Standard, but you miss some of the best cards, like you'd get no FOMO, which is really the one you're really hurting. But you do get Terso Light Chatter at least. But
true.
the real issue with the deck is you're reaching for cards that discard for value. Like Tersa's the only good one. So that's what I played. What was the interesting thing about my deck? I was trying out a couple of like one-ofs.
Right.
And one of them was the black card that you can warp from your graveyard. And then there's like a Grease Fang Goblin or something like that. And it was a 2/1. And when you could pay 3... Grease Ranch, yeah. And you could pay 3 to discard 2 cards and draw 2 cards, and then it would get a counter.
Yeah.
So those were my kind of like one of fun ofs to see if they were any good. But otherwise, kind of, I don't know. Would take the standard deck that does a similar thing and replace all the good cards with bad cards, and then there you go. That's what I was playing. And replace all of the dual lands with basics, because there are no red-black dual lands in this format, other than Blood Crypt. Yeah, so round 1 for me was against Teamer Harmonizer combo, which... honestly, it's basically exactly what it sounds like. Harmonizer doubles every time you play a land, and they try to play Evolving Wilds, and then they try to play multiple lands in a turn. And get you for 28, I think, is kind of the magic number. But, yeah, my deck did not want to cooperate. Like, the way my deck functions is you want to play a 1-drop, then you want to discard cards to make that a big 1-drop instead of a lame 1-drop, and then... that keeps the cards flowing, and you have haste creatures, and you try to beat them down. Then hopefully your monuments can kind of act as the reach, like the win con, to keep cards flowing, deals 3 damage at a time, etc., into the late game. What it kind of needs is like lands, 1-drops, and anything. And I kept getting like either no lands, or lands and 1-drops but nothing else, or lands and expensive crap. And it was, the whole tournament actually was very non-functional. I think part of that is deck building, like I didn't get the numbers right on everything. But part of it's just, hey, it's going to happen sometimes. And so game 1, I just kind of got steamrolled by, after looking at their list, like a near perfect draw from them. They had a turn 2 Ashling into the bug that lets you play lots of lands.
ISO Explorer?
Yeah. Into the enchantment that whenever they play a land, they get a dragon, and it blew up my board, and like still at 14 life. And I was like, okay, well that's just kind of the, other than your Harmonizer combo, that's kind of the nuts. And the guy admitted that after, like when we were chatting, they were like, yeah, that was an incredible draw from me in game 1. Like best possible draw that doesn't involve the combo. I was like, that makes sense. Yeah. Because it was hard to beat. It was hard to beat with my shitty 1/1s that never grew. So that was a bit of a non-game. And then game 2, because I get to be on the play in game 2, I had a decent start, and then just like Flood City, and I literally got my opponent to 1 life. And I was just like, I was discarding lands and drawing more lands, and then it was just lands. I was like, I need almost anything to win this game. But my draw was a little clunky. It was like shark into the... Geez, that 11%. I don't remember any of the... Carsey Revenant, there we go. That was my 3-drop. But Carsey Revenant is not meant to be your 3-drop. It's meant to be discarded to make your 6/6... get flying and lifelink, right? Like, so it's an off draw for sure. But we ended up getting him to 1. In order to do that, I couldn't leave any blockers back, and I knew that I was dead to the combo anyways, because it's 28 trample damage. And with the Revenant having lifelink, it was like exactly enough. So I attacked with everything, got them to 1. They comboed me and killed me. So, what are you going to do? That felt like a bad matchup, to be honest. Like, they go bigger, and they're fast. Like, it's hard to get under them. Because they gain some life, and they have board wipes with the stupid enchantment that makes dragons. And, yeah, their deck felt like pretty strong, like a little glass cannony, like these combo decks can be.
Yeah.
But it felt like they're gonna get that going before my sort of aggro mid aggro deck is gonna kill them. So that felt like a tough matchup, but game 2 was a tough loss because it was like, I got you to 1 and I drew like 12 lands, and if any one of those lands was a card, anything, like, then you would have died. But they also like missed land draw. The reason I got them to 1 and was in the game is because their draw sucked too. But they were finally able to assemble the combo. So we had a bit of a non-game where I got steamrolled, and then a non-game where neither of us really did anything, and then they just comboed me out. So that was round one. Round two, I got paired up against fairies, and I lost game one because I was on the draw, and my deck was not cooperating. But I managed to eke out a victory with some mediocre draws in games 2 and 3 because my opponent was playing fairies. So we kind of talked about it the week before, like when we talked about Planar Standard. There's not really a reason to play fairies. Like, there are some good fairies cards, but there's nothing that is like, hey, I reward you for having a bunch of fairies in your deck.
Yeah, right. Because we... yeah.
So he was playing like Glamour Mites and stuff, and I was like, please don't let me lose this one. Like, I respect what my opponent is trying to do, and they didn't do anything egregiously wrong in terms of gameplay, but it was like, the deck makes no sense. Like, you're just playing cards that say fairies on them.
Yeah. It's like... and most of those are from Lorwyn.
Oh, yeah, all of them, right? Pretty much.
And that wasn't even like a draft archetype you could play.
And so there's nothing that says if you have 10 fairies, you win the game.
You win.
Like the cards that are good are from like
Wilds of Eldraine.
Yeah, Wilds of Eldraine. The cards that pay you off for playing fairies, which aren't legal in Planar Standard. So they were just kind of playing a blue-black tempo deck that was fairy themed for no real benefit.
Reason.
So I did manage to squeeze that one out, but it was tight. Game 3, Game 2 wasn't close, and then Game 3 was pretty close, but I managed to win. And then round 3 was against the red-black mid-range player that you talked about. This one, I think...
They were playing like Alesha and stuff.
Right,
That type of deck, where it was like attack, bring things back from the graveyard.
Yeah. And it felt like a good matchup for me. Like, my removal lined up well. They were trying to play like one strong creature, and I had removal. And then I would just land the monument. And that was very difficult for them to deal with, and just kind of takes over the game for me. So the way I even won in game 2 was I had like 2 monuments. And I had the elf that lets you discard anytime. So they had quite a strong board going, but I was just like, well, like, elf, you lose 6 on your upkeep, elf, discard, you lose 6, like, that kind of thing. So, and it was scored on your end step, you lose 6. On my turn, you lose 6, and then on your end step, or on your upkeep, you lose 6.
That's so many cards.
Yeah, but I draw every time. So it was sort of
right.
It was sort of like you cycle them, right? So one draws and one loses life, and then one loses life and one draws. And so, it was, I think, a good matchup for me. But my deck, also I was on the draw again, and my deck, I think, did okay in this round. But I never got the, like, turn 1 Moon Shadow, turn 2 like discard something, or another threat, then turn 3, and like bringing back up Blood Gas. Like, I never really did the thing that I thought my deck would do, except in this game. That was maybe the one time when I had the double monuments and the free discard outlets. That felt like I was okay. This was doing the thing that I thought maybe my deck would do. And then round 4, I played against goblins, and I was on the draw. I was on the draw all 4 matches. And being on the draw against this like hyper aggro version of goblins was bad. So I won the game where I was on the play, but I lost the 2 games where I was on the draw. And
was it the same guy I had played?
No, it was a different player. It was it was Jund, because they did have the Taster of Wares. That I think they, looking at their list later, they sided in against me, and it was never good.
But they're just trying to snipe. They were hoping to snipe the enchantment or the artifact.
Maybe?
That seems so weird.
Yeah, like it's not particularly good against me.
Especially because I guess it exiles the stuff, so it's not
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't like actively help me, but it's not great in a deck that's sort of meant to not care about that. Game 1 I got sort of like I lost a reasonable game out of nowhere because they played Champion of the Weird, and they just like
did the
everything
thing.
died. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that went from I thought I was like 45% to win to being like I think I'm 5% to win now. Like game 2, I think they sort of I just got a little ahead of them. And then game 3, I think I kind of got steamrolled again.
Yeah.
But my deck wasn't like
Humming ever.
it was never humming, and I think that was partially bad luck, but a lot of like I don't have the right mix of aggro cards and discard cards, and like I think I have too much monument type stuff. Like the Phoenixes were terrible. The Flamewake Phoenixes were just awful in every game. But that's why I brought up the one-ofs. The Warp one was awful, and I drew it all the time. It was always bad. But the Grease Wrench was really good. Like, that card stood out to me as like, oh, maybe this should be a card we play in the deck. So I'm thinking maybe the deck is just a black-red aggro deck. And you kind of, like, move the Monument Shenanigans to the sideboard. And you play more one-drops. And the Grease Wrench is great because it's a one-drop that gives you a way to discard later. Because my problem was always I never had both. I always had like ways to discard, but I'm not benefiting, or like no early pressure, or like just early pressure, and then I just have these Makos that are like 1/1s and 2/2s. I'm like, just give me any way to discard a card, and I would smash your face. And then it'd be like, no.
Grease Wrench. Yeah, I agree. Like you have said this before, but when you're building decks, or at least when Jeff's building decks, but I think everyone should do this. And you're looking at a bunch of different cards you don't know what to do, that's where Jeff says play one-ofs, because when you play the deck, you will realize which ones you really like seeing and which ones you really don't like seeing. And another thing you can do is, like, if you are building a deck and you want to test out a card, you need to play more of that card than you think you actually need in the deck so that you can see whether it's good or not, and then start pulling it back. But I do like the one-ofs plan where you have whatever 8 slots of one-ofs, and you just see like which ones am I happy to see, and then slowly get rid of the other ones and replace them with copies of cards you actually like.
Yeah.
But
and I remember
also
like
sorry,
go ahead.
I just like Grease Wrench in general.
Yeah. Because I would never consider it in Standard, because it's just not at that power level. But in Planar, I actually felt like it was totally fine.
Yeah, I think so too.
But no, on your comment earlier, I remember watching when the brief period of time when Reed Duke was streaming. I remember he's, if you don't know Reed Duke, he's, legend, Hall of Famer, very well known for playing black-green mid-range based decks, especially in Modern. So there's a stream where he was doing that, and a quintessential part of that deck has always been Tarmogoyf. And he was playing 3 Tarmogoyfs. And someone asked him in the comments, why are you only playing 3 Tarmogoyfs? And he was like, because I'm trying to understand what cards like are good in this metagame, and like how to build my deck. And I know Tarmogoyf is good. So I know the final version will have 4. But for this, testing purpose, I need them to be in the deck so that I draw them. But I would rather, play a card... rather use that slot to experiment than to just, I know what Tarmogoyf does. I know... I've played enough Tarmogoyf to understand, when it's good, when it's bad, etc. And so I need them in my deck because that is part of my deck. But I don't need to max out on them while I'm testing, because I want that slot for another random card to see if that card's good. I was like, that's kind of an interesting way to to think about it, because most of my decks, I'm like, these are the cards that make up the deck. They got to be
I
four.
would never take any of them out if I'm testing
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Like, I would take other stuff out. But
Yeah.
he's right. Like, if you really are testing, you should maximize the cards that you're unsure about, actually. You should have as many of those in the deck as possible.
That's cool. I like that. I know you've told me that before, but man. Reed Duke. What a smart guy. Also cool dude. Reminds me, I want to go back and watch the Reed Duke Pro Tour.
Oh, yeah.
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 Sorry, it's called Pro Tour Reed Duke. But anyway, that and
For those who
maybe
don't know,
it's
that was a pro tour where they just always followed his matches, and he did very well. So you at first you're like, what if he sucks and he just loses? But no, he spoiler alert, he
it
went
worked.
very deep in the tournament.
It worked out. Which also reminds me that it's been a while since I've watched Enter the Battlefield. It might be time to revisit that documentary as well.
I've never actually seen it.
Oh, you should watch it. You should watch it. It's great. It's like produced quite well. For those of you who don't know, Enter the Battlefield is a documentary on YouTube of a pro tour back in... or it's not a pro tour, sorry. It is just following different professional Magic players through a testing period / qualifying period. And players of all different calibers, of all different players that are all trying to do different things, who have all moved on to a bunch of different stuff at this point, which is kind of cool to look back and see.
Yeah.
But I think it was
And for those who... Sorry?
Theros? Original Theros?
Jeez, that's
or
old.
Cons?
That sounds right,
it's
though,
old.
yeah.
It's around that time.
And for those who really don't know, Enters the Battlefield used to be text that would appear on a Magic card. We should now just say Enters.
That's true.
But for a long time, it said Enters the Battlefield, and before that, it was Comes into Play. So
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say next. Yeah.
but so the name of the documentary is quite clever because you're entering the battlefield that is competitive Magic, but it was also something that you would see on a Magic card.
Yeah, but this was
don't
back when, like the Peach Garden Oath was a thing, which is Reed Duke.
Oh, okay.
And yeah,
I see what we're talking about. Players who moved on to other things.
yeah, William Huey Jensen and Owen Turnwald, who is no longer a Magic player. And
But they were like three of the, top, at least top 10, maybe even like top 5. Like they were just the same. Three guys that were the same team were like three of the best players in the world at the same time.
Yeah. They were great. Melissa DeTora, that was back when she
Right.
was still playing Magic before she started playing in. She was working with Wizards. Chris Pakula is also in that documentary.
Hall of Famer, right?
No, or maybe, I don't know. The documentary is on his journey of whether he's going to be in the Hall of Fame or not by trying to qualify for some stuff. Spoiler alert, it does not happen. He is not in the Hall of Fame. But classically, the meddling mage, Chris Pakula.
Well, the original.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah.
He's cool. Anyone who's like, I'm against cheating, back in like the early 90s, when everyone was
It's one
like,
of those
cheating
things
was,
where
like,
you look
rampant.
back, you're like, how was that an unpopular opinion?
But
Apparently
like,
it was.
yeah, he's like, I'm one of the people who doesn't like cheaters and cheating in the game. And the company that made the game was like, we like you too.
Yeah.
But
We are also anti-cheating.
but I don't know. Mike Long and Mark Justice, right? They're like notoriously, they're just huge cheaters. I don't know.
Well, no way. His name is Justice.
Yeah. Well, if the USA has taught me anything, is that anything that sounds
okay.
like fairly American means they're probably cheating. But yeah, bummer that. Well, anyway, sorry. We should finish this episode. It's been a long one.
Yeah,
Old
okay,
Magic
but
still
let's
is
wrap up the Planar Standard tournament.
good.
Overall,
Should we? Yeah, overall.
overall it was fun, and
Yeah.
honestly, I think one of the things we were talking about, surprisingly, just like seamless and well run. Now I know it wasn't a big tournament,
Yeah.
but like it just went really well.
It moved very quickly. It was
Moved
great.
quickly, yeah.
And
Like as
it
soon
was-
as one round was over, it just started the next one,
It-
and
it
everyone
felt
was ready
like
to
that.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say Jeff played a little slower than other people. I was waiting for Jeff to finish his matches. So.
I went to
no, it was
3
great.
most time. I said it true actually, just 2 out of 4, so half the time.
Same, me as well. But yeah, I do know that I had finished earlier than Jeff because I kept checking to see if he was done or not. But anyway, it was a great time though, and very beginner approachable. I feel like anyone listening to this podcast who is interested in Planar Standard could easily jump into that Discord, join one of these tournaments, and feel great about it. They have tons of deck lists you can just take, and maybe you'll even play against someone who built the deck themselves.
Yeah, I think that point's worth like iterating, just saying again, because I personally didn't do anything. I put my name in the challenge, and then all 4 of my opponents set up the match with me. And if I was chatting with them on an arena, but I didn't have to. If I was just sort of made it clear, good luck, whatever, that would have been fine. I didn't post in the Discord until later. I posted my deck list. But like, if you're nervous about having to do that kind of stuff, I didn't do any of that for this event. I just
Yeah.
put my name in the thing, and people challenged me, and I played. I think one time someone challenged me, and it was best of 1, and they hit ready, and I was like, should probably make that best of 3, right? And then he unreadied and changed it, and we went in. But for the most part, like, this was very beginner friendly, and there was a Discord letting you know of everything that's going on all the time, and people were figuring stuff out there too, and so yeah, but it's super easy. Just go to your profile in Arena, copy your name, put it in challenge, and
Bing, bang, boom.
play.
So simple. So simple, so easy. So yeah, I would recommend it to anyone who's interested. Jeff, let's go to last call.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about this beer that we had. Holy moly, what a beer. As always, we rate our beers on a scale from bronze to mythic, just like the tiers in Arena. However, this has nothing to do with whatever tier you are in currently, because everyone's in different tiers at different times. So don't feel bad when we say that bronze beers are trash. They're horrible. You spit them out. You pour them on the ground. Gross. Blech.
Hey, I'm bronze. Oh,
You-
sorry,
yeah.
you just said that. Okay, silver, bad beers, macro brews, boring.
Gold beers are fine, but you wouldn't drink them again.
Platinum, solid, you would totally drink it again.
Diamond beers are exceptional. You like these a lot. You share them with your friends.
And mythic, these are the best of the best. Ooh, what's a good example for this one? You know
I
what?
feel like it.
Well,
you got it?
Do you have one for me?
I was just going to say, they're the OG pest tokens.
Oh, that's good. All right, these are the OG pest tokens of the beer world. I was gonna try to like rub some salt in the wound for you on Opus, but now the OG pest token is better.
Yeah. Well, that would have just been mean, Jeff.
Yeah, you're right. This is
Icelandic beer. What do we think?
it was. I liked it. I thought it was good. I just
Sorry,
wish. I just wish it had a bit more alcohol in it. Like I feel like I'm not.
I don't
not
think there
drunk
was
it.
any. Yeah, there was no
I'm not
alcohol.
buzzed
in this.
at all. I think this
No,
was just
not-
coffee. Like I'm actually more sober than I was before drinking it.
Mine
I
was
think.
literally just like coconut ice cream. I don't know what you're
Yeah, right. So I'm just energized. I definitely can't tell that I've had an 11% beer. Um, no, it was solid. I think like you can taste the alcohol,
Yes.
and I don't know that I could necessarily taste the Cocospola, but you know what? I've never had Cocospola, so
If Coca-Cola tastes like coconut, then yes, I tasted that immediately.
but not the. Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but the ice cream part of it.
No, no, no. I tasted alcohol
Alcohol first.
and coconut. Those are the things I tasted.
I got a bit of coffee, maybe just 'cause-
Sure. I mean, like, I think there's a little bit of that, but, like, holy crap, is there coconut in this? Like,
And am I crazy or did I taste an egg in there?
all right, so Jeff is making this joke because on the side of the can it says it contains barley, oats, egg, and milk. And
Yeah, I
before
just
the
kind of threw that
podcast,
one in there.
before the podcast, we were trying to figure out what the egg was for, and it's because eggs are in ice cream. So they obviously put some ice cream in this.
Yeah, coconut heavy. I think the coffee was there too.
I think it is there too. Coconut's just the
But it
only
didn't
thing I
taste
can think
like,
about.
milk stout necessarily, or like a ice cream. That part I didn't.
It didn't
totally
taste
pick up
creamy
on.
either. No, it tastes like coconut coffee, alcohol, which is great. But like,
Yeah, I mean, I like all of those things. It definitely. A lot of the times, the reason you would make this is that the strong flavors of coconut and coffee mean you don't taste the alcohol, which was not what's happening here.
no,
I kind of don't hate that, but some people might, right? Like, I like it when my 11% beer tastes like alcohol because otherwise I'm in trouble.
yeah, it better tastes like alcohol, honestly.
Yeah. So I liked this, but I was kind of hoping for, like, a little more of that ice cream, I think. It's just...
I thought there was some
and I'm
sort
not
of
the
like,
biggest coconut fan, so the fact that it is very coconutty, it's not like
a plus.
I'm devastated by that, but it's also just not how I would do it, because
Sure.
to me, coconut is nice, but not...
Yeah, I was hoping for something creamier. It's funny looking back at some of our old ratings before the episode. I know that this beer would be a diamond for sure if we
Old
were
school
like,
diamonds, like
old
new
school
school
diamond.
platinum kind of thing.
for sure. Yeah, I think that's kind of what it is. Where it's like, it's a really tall order for me to be like, we have to taste this 11%. And this one was nice, but I don't have to drink this again or share it with people. Well, no. Okay, I would drink this again. I do like this. I think it's good. I think it's a good
Yeah.
beer. I don't think it's gold. But hitting it just is such a bigger ask now for the 11%.
It's that weird line that we always have now with gold and platinum, because it's like, I probably won't ever drink this again. Just because if the beer is going to have that much alcohol in it, I want a mythic or a diamond, and I do
Yeah.
know of, I have access to like beers that I know
That
are
I-
that good,
Yes.
or that I enjoy that much relative to the alcohol content. Whereas the system was sort of designed under the lens of like, alcohol is not something to be avoided.
It was almost, if it's not 7%, it can't be in diamond or mythic.
It can't be
will never
diamond,
get
yeah.
there. Which
Now I'm
is just
like,
changed.
ooh, let's check out this 3% beer. I think it's mythic.
It's oh my gosh, it's so good.
How do they pack
So, yeah.
that much flavor into just 3%?
That is legitimately what I'm interested in nowadays. This was definitely cool, but I would say platinum for this.
This is an old school podcast brew, right? That,
It's old school
I'd be
for
curious what would have happened if we had this back in the day. I like how you framed that. Like,
I
back
could
in the day, we'd give this diamonds, but
It would be at least Diamond. I could see myself toying with Mythic.
Right. And I'd be like, I'm not a coconut guy that much, but it's a great beer, so I'll go Diamond.
But anyone who said they liked coconut, you would give it to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is what we would have probably said. 5 years ago?
Jeez.
We've been doing this podcast for a while.
3 children ago.
It's wow. Yeah, that's true. Between the two of us, soon to be more. But ooh. Anyway, Jeff, platinums all around for this big, heavy beer. Let's go to last call has already happened. Let's go to closing time.
What do we do next?
As always, you can reach us at Arena Regulars on Instagram and Blue Sky.
You may also find us on Arena itself, Arena Regulars Podcast.
If you want to talk to me personally, you can find me at _Zach. I am on Instagram and TikTok, but Jeff, where can they find you?
Best place is our Discord channel. We have constant conversations going on about Standard, about Limited, about Timeless, about any format that you like. We're going to chat about it there. I actually learned about Planar Standard, the tournament that I played in, through this Discord, and that was really cool. And so it's just a great place to interact, share your wins, share your bad beats, share your beers, and share your love of the game, man. And that's what we're all about. And so come join us. The link is in the show notes.
That is right. Also, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify. Leave us a review there as well. Go to our YouTube channel. Leave a little comment. Have a little fun. Say a little thing. Mostly, it just means a lot to us to hear what you think about the show. This has been the Arena Regulars.
Reminding you that if you like getting rewarded for playing any kind of spell, Silverquill is not the college for you.
Good night. All right, that's fine.